Our ages range from 18 to 23.
Oh, you all look so much younger.
Not my age.
Except for you. You look so much older. Because he's tall.
And he has a different color shirt on.
Yeah,
He's
he
like the
does.
leader.
Yeah, what happened? Did it
She's fearless leader.
Oh, you got? How come you have a different color?
Was your brown shirt dirty?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
brown
why.
shirt got
They have
dirty.
different color.
Yeah, your shirt got dirty. Okay. Why don't the two of you introduce each other?
Alright, so my name is Myra. I am going to be a sophomore at Southern Connecticut State University in the fall.
My name is Kay. I'm 23 years old and I graduated from the University of Florida in December.
Oh, are you from Florida?
Mm-hmm. I'm born and raised in Dade County in Miami, Florida.
Very nice. Did you bicycle up here from Florida?
No. We started bicycling in Wilmot, New Hampshire.
Oh, okay. How'd you get up there?
I flew.
You flew. So how'd you hear about this organization?
I heard about it. I had a friend mention it to me once, but then I went to a national conference called PowerShift, and they were tabling at that event, and it really appealed to me. So I checked it out a little bit after and applied and was accepted.
So through bicycling, in order to promote what your cause is, what is Climate Summer?
Climate Summer is a group of 22 college students and recent graduates working to support grassroots movements against fossil fuels in Massachusetts.
Nice.
Specifically in Brockton, we are supporting a group called Stop the Power, working to oppose the proposed Brockton power plant.
And why is the proposed Brockton power plant not a good idea, in your estimation? Why are fossil fuels not a good idea?
We feel as though the Brockton power plant is only a good option, as it's being talked about as a good option in terms of economics, which we don't believe is really feasible for that community, but it has a lot of negative health effects. During the combustion of natural gas, there are a lot of particulates that are released into the environment, and those particulates are known, according to the Environmental Protection Agency, those particulates can aggravate conditions of heart and lung disease, and it contributes to aggravated asthma, to difficulty breathing, and other disorders like that.
So what if you put something like that in an area that already has trash transfer stations, sewer burning plants, large amounts of highway traffic, bus system, landfill? Does that make it better or worse?
Well, it will add to the pollution in that area.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that.
That's good to find out.
It is good to find out.
You remind me of a young Sigourney Weaver. Doesn't she? Like the actress?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see? People are shaking their heads, they're agreeing.
Is that the character with thinking on the stomach?
Yeah, Alien.
Yeah.
But also lots of things like Working Girl and Gorillas in the Mist. And
Okay, so more than that.
she's a great actress.
Where are most of the cyclists from?
Yeah, where are you guys from?
We're from all over the country.
Oh, all right.
Our team specifically seems to go to school in New England, but that's not true of the entire program.
So as you cycle through these states and through these towns, are there climate problems all over, or in certain towns worse than others?
The Brockton area has at least twice the state average of hazardous waste facilities located within its city limits.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a reason that we came to this area, to really support the strong, resilient community that Brockton has formed.
Where are you biking to? What's your destination?
Next we go to Burleville, Rhode Island. We spend a night in Woonsocket, Rhode Island on the way. After that we go up to the Metro West area, and we go to Waltham.
Where's your final destination?
Our final destination is Brockton. We come back to Brockton at the end of the summer. At the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Because of the fine food? Or,
We're really hoping to meet with Mayor Carpenter when we return.
oh, well, you know,
Hang
he's going to be
around.
here at 10 o'clock. Seriously.
Oh.
I mean, he'll be on the air with us, but you can say hello to him and set something up probably.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Hey,
We'll
that's
definitely
no
hang out
problem,
for
you
a
know.
little bit.
Things work out sometimes, I suppose.
Yes.
All right. So, what do the rest of you do, like, full-time? Are you all students? You're a cameraman,
You
though.
can speak.
Yeah, we're students.
Yeah, we're all students.
You're all students? Wow.
Except for Kay, who just graduated.
Right, right. She's very well spoken. She speaks well. That's what that means. So why did all of you get involved? Do you also have great passion for the environment? Or do you like to ride bicycles?
Personally, it's all about the environment. The bicycles are just kind of an added bonus
That's good.
to make the summer a little bit more enjoyable, even though sometimes it's not that enjoyable.
Yeah.
You have to bike up a big hill or in 90-degree heat. It's
Some-
worth it.
How big are the bicycle seats?
Small.
Tiny.
Too small.
Small.
I put some cushion on mine.
You have to, because, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you here. Guys might have a little bit more of a problem with the bicycle seats than the girls would. Am I right?
Mm.
I'm not.
See, you're my size almost.
Yeah.
And this is a problem for me because I love to cycle, but I can't do it for that long because it starts to tell me
Get the
things.
bike shorts, the padded bike shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
They work.
Do you wear this is what you wear when you're cycling? Or do you have the full thing with the latex thing like they do in circus?
I think they cycled there, right?
yeah.
Didn't you?
Did you?
Mhm. We usually wear like that nice safety orange so we're really visible
That
from
is
the
a good point to
road.
have it in safety
Yeah.
orange, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And usually some type of like spandex-y shorts.
Yeah.
Yes, things like that.
So all your bikes are here
Yeah, they're all outside.
and you always travel on bikes?
Mm-hmm.
What if you have to take things with you? Like, what do you do?
Oh, we have trailers that attach to our bikes.
Oh,
And
interesting.
we carry everything in a plastic tub that fits nicely on our little trailer.
Is it more weight or because it's all on wheels it doesn't matter?
It's about 80 pounds loaded.
Crap. Oh. Mike wants to know if any of you are interested in dating. No, that's not what you said. Okay. Okay.
Who gets the trailer?
Who gets the trailer?
We have two and we rotate them.
Okay.
You rotate the trailer.
Yes.
Try and keep it pretty even, pretty fair, because it's going to be
So it's one
difficult
trailer.
no matter what.
What if you two trailers? What if you had like 6 trailers or 7 trailers and they were only like 3 pounds apiece? Just trying to help. Trying to help.
What are you gonna do tomorrow when it rains?
It might be kind of welcomed.
Yeah, it's been very warm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's-
Though we're not doing a long travel day tomorrow, thankfully, so we're not
Yeah.
too worried about.
So where will you be on July 4th?
We are currently staying in Christ Congregational Church
Mm-hmm.
in Brockton. And
Nice.
so
Okay.
we'll be there.
It's a nice place actually. Air conditioned.
They've been extremely hospitable to us.
Yeah.
Extremely hospitable. We've had potlucks there, joined them for their service, which we were really well received at, and they've just been a really warm and welcoming community. We'd like to thank them for housing us.
Nice.
Now this is all of you, or are there more of you?
This is our team.
So there's 6 of you.
Yes.
Okay.
And is there a prom and everything?
In the works.
In the works.
Potentially.
So not only do you spread the good word, but you also stay fit and in good shape.
Yes, we try. We've been getting fed a lot of caloric food.
Yeah, but you're bicycling, so you're working it off. You know, the only
Yeah.
way to really be healthy and to lose weight is to continue eating so that you have something to burn. When you don't eat, you see, your body has nothing to burn and you don't lose weight. Could you introduce the other people? Do you remember their names?
Yes. All right, so we have Hallie, who is going to Worcester Polytechnic Institute and will be a sophomore in the fall.
Oh, nice.
We have Yona, who is going to Brandeis, and he will be a sophomore in the fall as well.
Yona is an interesting name. Are you from culturally somewhere else?
I'm originally from Ukraine,
The name actually, it's the same name as Jonah. It's just like the.
So what do you speak any other languages?
My native language is Russian.
Привет.
Hmm?
Как у тебя дела?
Привет, хорошо.
Хорошо.
We'll do that later.
Wait to use my Russian too.
And the next gentleman.
And then we have Luke, who will be a junior at Tufts in the fall.
Oh, nice. What are you going to be studying at Tufts?
Environmental studies in French.
Makes sense. Environmental
Bonjour.
studies.
Ça va?
Oui, ça va bien?
Très bien.
Really awesome.
Any Arabic here?
Oh, there you go.
مرحبا.
مرحبا.
وأنا أيضا نحن نتكلم العربية.
Yeah,
أنا
really
أخبار.
is, yeah. That's right. Why wait till next week?
Only 15 more languages. Anybody?
That's right.
That's 3 of
Like
them.
to change now. So, how did you, oh, and there's one more.
There's Alyssa, who will be a sophomore at Northeastern in the fall.
All right. And what does she speak?
I speak Arabic, Portuguese, and Spanish.
Oh my God.
Wow. People are far more intelligent than my listening audience. I think they're overwhelmed by all of you. How did either of you, just throw the question out to the two of you sitting here, how did you become so passionate about this subject matter? Was it your parents, something you saw or read? I mean, like, what happened?
For me, I became really passionate about the subject matter just through studying the different environments in different areas and seeing how different populations are affected by changes in our climate. So I became more and more interested in seeing how it could impact us here in the US and seeing the steps that we were taking or not taking to curb our influence on those who are more tied to the land, who feel the direct consequences of climate change more directly.
And yourself?
I have just always been very passionate about nature and the environment around me. So.
Ich gemacht oder fliehen da nach Stiao?
Sounds German.
I don't know what that was. So, what do you do after this? You leave the radio station, and the mayor will say hello to you, probably, if he shows up on time. And he will. What do you do? Where do you go?
Well, on
Coffee.
Saturday, our big event we're doing at DW Fields Park, we're inviting Brockton residents to come and share their stories about their community and what they envision as a better future.
Nice. Sweet.
And we were wondering, would it be all right for us to speak to Mayor Carpenter on air?
Well, yeah. Well, it's up to him, but I don't know how he can refuse you.
Thank you, that'd be pretty lovely.
That's fine. Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, you should be here rather shortly, so I'll ask you to go back into the other room, and he should be here shortly, and we'll set that up for you. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you very
Enjoy
much.
the water. We have
I want to get a
water for
picture with you guys, so yeah, don't
Yeah,
go.
I'll tell you what, let's take a break, and we'll set them up at the buffet, and when we come back, more programming. We'll listen to WXBR Brockton, Boston Providence. Welcome back to the program. Former Mayor Wainwright is in studio, and he has agreed to come on the air, and he always does. He's always been an open mayor, and he still is. And we have two people from the Climate Summer who you heard during the first hour, and we were discussing the power plant. The Climate Summer wanted to meet with the Mayor of Brockton, Mayor Carpenter, and we believe that he was coming in today during the 10 o'clock hour, but either that was incorrect or being rescheduled. So we figured, hey, a mayor, what the hell? So here we are. I know you've had conversation in the lobby. Just want to pick up on where you were. Climate Summer concerned about the environmental impact. Former Mayor Wainwright saying, you know, these are also business decisions and decisions for the greater good of people as well. So we'll continue the conversation. Where were you?
Yeah, I think the last thing, if I'm correct, that the former mayor was saying was that we need to find a balance between the economics of a carbon-free economy and protecting the environment. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I think my response to that in terms of Brockton is that if you look at Brockton Clean Energy, which is a really unfortunate name for the website for the proposed power plant, they talk about how many jobs they believe will be created through the construction of this power plant. And their prediction on that website, which was updated about 3 years ago, is that 25 full-time engineering jobs would be created. And these are engineers that are specifically trained to work on natural gas that will most likely come from outside of Brockton. But since within these 3 years, they've changed that number down to 6 to 10 full-time engineers. And speaking to a citizen of Brockton yesterday on the phone who's been really involved in this fight, she said, we want industry in Brockton. We want to have a good, viable economic base, but something like this natural gas plant is not what we want, because it won't create jobs for people in Brockton, and it won't do what we need to happen for the economy. And when she said this to me, it really got me thinking that there are better industries that could be brought to Brockton that the mayor should be considering in his financial plan.
Well, that sounds good. But bringing industry to Brockton is something that I think began in 1884 when they started to try to bring industry to Brockton. And it's been, because they have to want to come here. It has to be something that makes it desirable for any. One thing you've got here, most people don't appreciate it, is the educational system.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things.
Why is Brockton 25% Haitian and 25% Cape Verdean? Why did they come to Brockton? One of the reasons nobody talks about it is because the high school and the whole education system. Brockton is getting, awards left and right for their educational system. Of course, they pay the teachers the highest rate anywhere around, and that is part of the reason why you got really quality. But except for an reasonably educated population that wants to work, no industry has really got any desire to come to Brockton.
I think in addition to ensuring that Brockton is a desirable place for industries to locate, we also have to ensure that Brockton is a desirable place for people to live. And we know that the combustion of natural gas emits a lot of dangerous toxins into the environment. The Environmental Protection Agency has stated that these toxins include carbon monoxide, nitrous oxides, small amounts of sulfur dioxide and mercury, and as well, and particularly the most dangerous, is particulate matter. And scientists have demonstrated a clear relationship between the inhalation of particulate matter and the exacerbation of asthma, the development of irregular heartbeat, non-fatal heart attacks, lung cancer, and a whole other slew of respiratory and cardiovascular illnesses. And so when considering Brockton in the bigger picture, we have to also understand that compromised health should never be a justification for the construction of a natural gas plant, especially in terms of how compromised health would be if this plant were to be constructed.
Well, as I was mentioning out in the lobby earlier, fortunately, the prevailing wind is southwest, and so were the power plant to be built, the particulate will end up in Abington and Holbrook, and eventually Quincy and Weymouth, and then out over the ocean. You have to have a balance. When you have a natural gas facility, that in the total energy picture, that's one less coal-fired plant in the United States. You have to look at the picture as the United States, and whenever you build a natural gas facility, you eliminate the necessity for one more coal-firing plant to be built. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you're going to take a picture of where you are right now, you have to be comprehensive, and you have to come up with a position on the Pilgrim nuclear power plant. And none of you seem to be, that's not your bag. But you cannot be talking about stopping a natural gas facility unless you're saying, where are we going to, then we got to promote nuclear energy, and I'm a big nuclear energy fan. But I'm in favor of a lot of the things you're in favor of about reducing the effects on the environment. And the principal way you can do it is a well-built nuclear facility. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you talked about a couple of different things there. The first thing you mentioned was about where the proposed power plant would be built. Winds would carry the particulate matter towards Quincy and in that direction, and I think that's false. And where I get that information primarily is actually. It reminds me of this video that we watched that the mayor produced. I don't know with what funding, but in that video, he toured natural gas plants all around Massachusetts. And at the end of the video, he showed different sites in Brockton, close to where the proposed power plant would be. And he showed various industries and the sewage waste treatment plant. And that was pretty disheartening because he was basically saying, hey, look at all these polluting industries. What's one more? And that's not really what the people of Brockton need. It's not what we want to see for like the community of Massachusetts or the greater United States. And there's actually a particulate matter reader at the Gilmore School really close to these proposed sites. And all these various polluting industries that the mayor mentioned in his video have already caused that particulate matter reader to read levels above what's safe almost every day with about, 40?
It's about 50 micrograms is the concentration of the particulate matter in the atmosphere, and the Environmental Protection Agency has stated that the upper bound for safe inhalation of particulate matter over a 24-hour period is 35 micrograms, and over a year period should not exceed 15 micrograms. And when this particulate matter is inhaled above those levels, a lot of deleterious effects can really be felt by populations, particularly children and the elderly. So when we think about adding to that pollution, in particular particulate matter, do we really want to be disadvantaging our elderly and our children? I mean, it doesn't exactly seem very,
Well, the children spend all their time inside playing video games. They don't go out and play like I did. I played baseball and football. I spent my whole childhood out in the fields and the woods and everywhere and playing games. Now that you go to the playgrounds, there's nobody in the playgrounds. Everywhere, nobody. They're all playing their video games in the dark.
We biked around Industrial Boulevard in the area where the proposed plant would be and where the waste sewage treatment plant, and we biked by various playgrounds, including the Davis School, which is within 2,000 feet from this proposed site, and we saw children playing on that playground. When we went to the Gilmore School, there were children playing football and basketball there. When we went up to a school near the George G. Snow Park, there were children playing there. We were running through the sprinklers and they were playing soccer.
Well, I mean, it's also a bit of a moot argument because children still need air to breathe.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed over the past 30 years.
I know. I feel sorry for these kids whose computers broke and they have to go out and play. Right?
They still have to walk to school. And in reference to your argument about the potential closure of certain plants or rejection of certain plants would foster the development of new ones like coal, we are not supporting the construction of any new fossil fuel plants. And I think that there are other cleaner ways to meet our energy needs, and that's why we're calling on the governor of the state, Deval Patrick, to only invest in cleaner technologies such as offshore and onshore wind, solar panels, and in conservation, such as by weatherizing people's homes and insulating them so that they use energy more efficiently, and also by making improvements to the grid so that our energy is not wasted as much as it is. Because we know that we need to transition to a cleaner energy economy, and so just by moving toward natural gas, it's really a bridge to nowhere.
Well, I don't think it's a bridge to nowhere. It's a bridge to
It's a bridge to a dirtier, more toxic future, that's for sure.
Well, then go spend your time promoting nuclear energy. I mean, so nobody here wants to do that. Oh, that's terrible. You read in some book somewhere that nuclear energy, those plants are going to blow up and atom bombs and all the rest of that baloney.
Well, it's not, I'll join in. It's not so much that the plants will blow up necessarily, that's a possibility with anything. It's more the spent fuel rods that there's no way they don't deteriorate, they just stay around forever.
Yeah, but that's
more concerned about that.
That's public. You got a perfectly,
Just doesn't
in
go
Nevada, you got this mountain. Nevada's, they got the place all built.
Right.
But nobody wants, Nevada says, well, dude, we gotta, if you give the people in Nevada a few bucks off on the taxes and take all this nuclear waste and bury it in a mountain. But then you got every other state that says, oh no, we don't want that, those toxic fuel rods coming through Indiana on their way to Nevada. So you got a political stalemate. You cannot resolve it because there is no political will to resolve the problem, because it takes somebody to make a sacrifice, and nobody across the United States is willing to make the sacrifice.
So you're suggesting that we should sacrifice individual people's health for other people's energy?
No, I'm suggesting that if you're going to lobby some politician somewhere, you lobby the federal government to do something. And during World War II, these munitions went across the United States, and not one train blew up carrying munitions from one army base to another or off to the ships. There's no reason why you can't transport spent fuel rods across the United States to wherever you're going to send them.
I think we're just getting a little off topic because we're not proposing that we close nuclear power plants, but we're also not calling on the governor to invest in new nuclear energy because we don't think it is the most viable solution to our energy problems. We are mostly, this summer, we are exclusively focusing on natural gas infrastructure.
And we really think that the answer lies in wind and solar primarily. And those are very viable solutions, especially for Massachusetts. And you mentioned yourself just how windy Brockton is. It's in fact one of the windiest cities in America with an average wind speed of 14.3 miles per hour. So imagine a wind farm outside of the city.
But Walter Cronkite and Ted Kennedy didn't want that. It obstruct their view. They couldn't see.
And luckily Cape Wind has moved along in its legal proceedings.
Yes, but nobody wants to talk about the fact that the cost of electricity by Cape Winds is going to be 3 to 4 times what it is from the nuclear power plant in Pilgrim.
If we were to build a natural gas plant and continue with the other proposed natural gas projects, including the AIM project that's proposed by Spectra Energy that would connect to this power plant and the Kinder Morgan pipeline that would go across northern Massachusetts, a lot of this gas is going to end up at exporter stations. There's a proposal to build 32 new exporter stations in the United States, and when this gas makes its way into the world market, we'll see an increase in the price. What we see right now is a really artificial low levels of the price of natural gas, and as soon as they get to the world market, the prices will increase.
This is particularly because certain countries will pay more for natural gas than the cost is in the United States. So when we export that natural gas abroad, that's going to raise the price of natural gas consumption.
But nowhere near. You can raise it, you can double it, and it's still not going to come close to what it's now going to cost you for whatever juice you get from Cape Winds.
So how do you quantify monetarily the deaths or illnesses of certain individuals in Brockton through inhalation of toxins?
Well, I think if you could somehow predict with any kind of accuracy that that power plant would probably cause one person, let's put it at, one person who's got asthma, for instance, or one person would be negatively affected to the point of actually causing the death, not accelerating.
Well, why are you sort of abdicating the acceleration of death? I mean, the Environmental Protection Agency.
No, not abdicating.
But you're saying that we won't take into account premature deaths. Why wouldn't we?
No,
why shouldn't we assign a value to that?
I think premature deaths. Yes, anybody that.
So we should count people whose deaths are accelerated.
Right, and you say what's the number? There is a number. I don't know what it is. Is it 10? Is it 1? Is it 400? What is the number of accelerated deaths? Are they accelerated by 15 minutes, 15 years? You want to account somebody who dies of, like my grandmother said, everybody dies of the same thing, shortness of breath. And you're going to say somebody's gonna die 15 minutes sooner because they were in an environment where they're a little bit more particulate in the air, or you're gonna say somebody who dies 15 years before they should have died, whatever should have means. How are you gonna quantify it? You're
Well,
the one
I'm
who wants to
asking you.
quantify.
I'm asking you.
I say it can't be quantified, it's too complicated. There is no algorithm you could put.
I mean, there is a cost to people's hospital bills. You can monetize someone's death. The federal agencies do that actually. They do value human life, and depending on the agency, it ranges from anywhere
I
from
think
$5 to
that's a
$10
very
million.
a very good way to look at
So
it.
then, should we incorporate these costs into the cost of natural gas?
Yes,
There's also
absolutely.
there's also a question of quality of life besides death, as to what your life is going to be like. Are you going to COPD? You're gonna have respiratory problems. I mean, you can live with that for quite a period of time, but you're not going to be healthy. Whereas if you lived in an area that didn't have plants and where the wind didn't blow that pollution into a certain area, there might be a better quality of life.
You gotta, I'll give you a couple of, for instances. I'm involved in the solar energy project, all right? And I've been involved in more than one. And the first one was in West Bridgewater, where the Kennedy family is big and they get things done better than anybody else because they seem to have more clout. But they couldn't even in West Bridgewater. When the neighbors came around and said, oh, we don't want those ugly things in our yard, in our backyard. The NIMBY factor is huge everywhere. And the places that seem to be the most appropriate for solar are often ones where there are politicians who respond to the way politicians always respond to people like you that complain. They don't always respond, but they, like I gotta.
Well, we wish the mayor would respond to us and at least have a meeting with us.
Well,
as he extended
I'm sure.
offer to. So maybe they don't always respond.
He's gonna have the meeting. When I have my meeting with him, I'll tell him that I'd like him to have the meeting with you.
Thank
We
you so
appreciate
much.
that.
We really do. We are looking
Okay.
forward to taking him up on his offer.
All right, that's a deal.
Well, thank you so much for having that conversation. We do appreciate it. It's an important conversation to have. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more programming. Listen to 1460 WXPR.